Hello, my name is Gianfranco Valero, and I'm doing this for Software Engineering's independent project for Full Sail University. I studied a tutorial that I found on YouTube that explained to me how to implement collision detection. Um, as I hadn't done any work in Unity before, it was a base point, a starting point for me to implement what I wanted to do, which is that the behavior of an enemy should change depending on the state of the player. By state of the player, I mean is he would have default, where it's just normal collision. Then he would have other ones, where could be triggered by power ups or different player states, and depending on the state, the enemies or the objects you collide with respond differently. I'm going to demonstrate right now what the proof of concept for this would be. So I am the black square. I have two blue squares that would be my enemies, and as you can see, I consumed something that was one of my power-ups. Right now, when I collide with him, he's going to start to follow me not only like on the x-axis but on the y-axis as well. I'll do it for both, and then you'll see. As you can see, they're following me around. When I jump, they jump too, and I have them slightly lag behind me so that I can do, for demonstration purposes, things like this. And I do have a limit set onto them that you will see later, so that they don't actually crash into me. This would be used to maybe have enemies turn into allies or use them as shields. And when I hit X, their behavior resets. Now I'm going to consume another different power up, and you'll see how this behavior will change. Now he's doing a half circle motion around me and resetting when he hits the ground. And again, I can do for both at the same time. And if I hit X, their behavior resets. Now, this here is not an enemy, it's just a platform. So this you can hit so that the enemies are the ones whose behavior changes. And right now, they only do this while I'm in a lower position than they are. That's why if I jump and I'm higher than they are, their behavior stops. But when I make it back and lower, then it begins again. Just to quickly show what the normal collision would be. If I don't consume anything, I just collide and push them back. And these different collisions can be, more of them can happen at once. I'm gonna consume like here this one, right? And now he will start following me like that. And now I'm gonna, you see? I made him do a half circle motion off the stage, and now this one is following me. Again, if I hit X, its behavior resets. Okay, so I did this for the implementation of scripts, which I hadn't done before. As I said, I hadn't worked in Unity. I have mainly two scripts, one for the player movement and one for the enemy movement that actually changes the behavior and the player state. And well, here, as you can see, I just have some variables that I declare that I need to do the player state, and then here I just get the input on the horizontal axis. That's how you implement the fact that when someone presses the right arrow key or the left arrow key, they move along the horizontal axis. And I have a check for the is key down for the spacebar to make it jump. Which forced me to use a boolean that tells the game if it is on ground or on anything that is ground, so it doesn't jump while it's on the air. All the debug.logs here that I have was just using for caveman style debugging or just for testing. So since this is not Visual Studio, we can't set breakpoints, and I had to resort to things like this so I could test whether or not my variables were being set correctly. Here this is a special test I had to add because this is when you stay on collision. What would happen is if you were colliding with an enemy and go back and you're still on the floor, it would never get reset. So the game would think that you were in the air instead of on the floor and would not let you jump. And here, I hope you can read. This is just on exit collision, or here's just when you exit any kind of collision, you just reset all those booleans that you're on the ground to false, so the game knows that you're in the air and doesn't allow you to jump more than once. here. The same thing for my enemy, which I have quite a few more. Enemy speed, that's how I have one enemy that moves, one that doesn't, and the enemy state, which is again determined by the player state when he collides with them. So to show that real quickly, I can show you here. Here you can see that this is where I check where against the power-ups. So if I crash into them, these are the names. Then I change my player state, and then if the again, and then if my state is 1 and I collide with an enemy, then I set its enemy state to 1, and if it's 2, I set it to 2. 1 is the one where it follows you, 2 is the one where it does the half circle motion around you, going back and forth. And other than that, then here's the switch that handles that. The main 0, if I have given you a starting speed, then I just make you follow me around on the X. And then I just update with the transform, and I just translate on the transform, sorry. And then for the first one, where they're following me, I just have a check for the magnitude so I don't actually crash into me, because as they would be used as shields or something, you don't want them to actually hurt you. I just using a vector that I calculated at the beginning. This vector temp is a vector from the player, not from the from the player to the enemy's position. This is what is calculated here, and I use that for all of my different behaviors. So here, just following me. So I just set its translate to the negative the right, negative the up, and I just have a factor there to increase its effect visually on the up axis because of the gravity, so that it can fight the gravity and actually jump well. And then the second case is the one where it's going around you using a half circle motion. Here I have a magnitude capped at 2. Well, not capped, I just scale it when it's superior to 2. So that makes them, that is to kind of prevent that if you sit still, if you sit still and you don't have this, then it just will, the length, the distance between you and it will just keep increasing. And then I just have a boolean that tells it where it's going, left or right, and then I have a check that resets that value to whatever it should be when it's hit the ground. So if it's hit the ground and it's to the right of you, then it should start going left, and if it's hit the ground and it's to the left of you, it should start going right. And as this was pretty basic, that is it. I'll just demonstrate a little bit now what I talked about a little bit with it not being able to double jump. So here you hit once and you can't hit more than once. Here you hit once, you can't hit more than once. You can't hit more than once. It doesn't matter if you're on the ground, and here if you're on the platform, you can't hit more than once. And again, I consume it. Now it's going to follow me and jump with me. And again, I consume this. So if I consume this and he's still following me, you'll see how there can be 2. You see? Well, there it happened for a moment, but then I collided. I just said X and reset. It's 1. And just reset. It happened twice because it collided into me again. Well, that was it. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Again, this is Jean-François Hernandez for Software Engineering at Full Sail University.